And we're back. Better than ever. At least we'll find out. Hopefully. This is KG and the Fifth Ward Wildcat bringing you another podcast. How you doing out there, world? For the Wildcats, go ahead and hit with those scores, sir.
All right, let's start off for the weekend. 100 years of football. Rice celebrate this weekend home opener win against Purdue, 24-22. Got one more Big Ten scheduled on the for football against Northwestern later on in the month. They went to women's soccer was a 0-0 tie against number 20 BYU on the road. Women's volleyball lost to Pacific 3-2 on the road. U of H football went and rolled up North Texas State 48-23. Women's soccer got their first win of the season, 9-0 over Texas Southern. Women's volleyball went 2-1 over the weekend at the UK Invitational. HBU women's soccer got shut out 3-0 against SFA. The men's soccer lost on the road to Butler 2-1. University of St. Thomas men's soccer lost on the road in Hattiesburg, Mississippi to William Carey 5-1. TSU lost a heartbreaker to Prairie View. 5 years running. The story of being a king-size view, 37-34. Women's soccer, as I mentioned earlier, lost to U of H 9-0. San Jack men's soccer beat Lombard 6-0 and went to a 0-0 tie against NT Northeast Texas Community College. And women's volleyball last week went 5-2 in the Women's Invitational. And that is my college local scores for the weekend. And this is the Fifth Ward Wildcat. Now, my compadre across the way, where shall we start? The PV situation.
Let's start with Prairie View TSU. Both of us were there.
Yes, and what a game! It started out looking like it was going to be lopsided or one-sided or whatever, and then it from. I was down on the field, you were up in the stand, up in the press box. From your sidelines, what did you see? What happened?
Well, I mean, TSU defense dominated the first half, but the kicking game let them down, and Prairie View ran back a kickoff for a touchdown for their score. It was a one-point game at halftime, and despite the fact Prairie View had, I think 12 yards of total offense in the first half. So, TSU led by one. Third quarter, PV's offense started to get on track a little bit. TSU running game was very, very effective with Prairie View as they started to adjust and force TSU to pass the ball a little bit more. That's not TSU's strength, as you and I both know. But even that, TSU led into the fourth quarter, 34-20. But after TSU scored to go by 14, PV had the best drive of the game up to that point. Marched down the field, led by, and I don't get his name right, Jerry Lovelock.
Yeah,
freshman.
That's how you said it.
And, they opened up the offense a bit more, had some more movement, little option plays. They scored 34-27. TSU couldn't do anything. It hurts when you have 6-yard punts and 12-yard punts and things like that, and getting field goals blocked and returned back to the 1-yard line. And then Prairie View tied it up at 34. And at that point, I was like, well, this game's going to go in overtime. Because it still was maybe 2 minutes left. Yeah. And TSU offense couldn't move. They were, I think, around their own 20 or so. Right. And they punted. Another bad punt for 12 yards. So with a minute and change left, Prairie View had the ball in TSU territory. And they did enough to get in field goal position and kick the winning field goal.
And folks, this is where it really got interesting. You get to it, they take the ball, short yardage. They get another first down, get an opportunity. And then this is where it got crazy. You get a freshman who's kicking for the first time in his career,
Chris Barrett,
and that guy comes out on the field and either to tie, win, go in overtime, whatever, however you want to look at it, takes his shot, goes to the uprights, And with less than, 3 seconds left to go on the clock, if I'm not mistaken?
He kicked it with about 4.5 when it went through.
And game is over. Now, you talking about going from, it was like a roller coaster ride, both sides up screaming and hollering. Ball goes through the uprights. Referee's arms go up. And the Texas Southern Tiger Nation was...
They were shell-shocked.
Devastated. I mean, it was like they couldn't believe what had happened. And to be honest with you, folks, I was shocked at the crowd that was there.
It was a great crowd at Del Mar.
You know,
it was standing room only, really.
And once again, I don't know, you can attribute it to marketing, but I attribute it to school being there. Because normally when the Labor Day Classic it happens, kids are in the process of just moving into the dorms. They hadn't got classes started yet. So it was basically everybody was in here, everybody was in town. Game, a home game for both teams. Because Prairie View went on the road to Florida and
Will Cookman just embarrassed them.
I mean, you went on national TV and you embarrassed the conference, literally.
But that was, if I'm correct, that was the other quarterback PV play in that game against Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
And then
now
they made a change to Lovelock, and
it's another situation where, once again, first game out the block, the guy that gets the job in the spring, starts fall practice, takes that first game, doesn't last long, gets pulled. Second guy comes in, third guy, whichever one of the depth chart guys, quarterbacks, gets his shot, and the following week in practice, the second game, takes over the team, and they roll through the season. This was Lovelock's first start. True freshman. Comes in, he looked totally lost in the first half.
No doubt.
And it was, I don't know, the coach mentioned at halftime that they basically told him to just settle down. Don't worry, forget about the first half. Just take care of things and manage the game. Just watch to the sidelines, watch the clock that's in front of you, and then just move the team. Folks, they went to doing what they do best, and when they won, when Prairie View and Texas Southern have won the SWAC championships the last 2 times, they have went to the run game. They put the ball on the ground, turned guys loose, and it's opening. And when it opened up, Lovelock made several throws in the second half, one to number 81 and the other one to number 1. These guys snatched balls out of the air from every which way. And it looked more like they were ready to roll.
Yeah, DeAndre Cooper caught one of the touchdowns. I think touchdown to tie. Great pass.
Then Texas Southern settles on Parker to come in the second half and just take control, and TSU do what they do. Get the ball to Wright, get the ball to Gilbert, and folks, now Texas Southern playing Texas Southern ball.
It was ground and pound. Their running game was effective until fourth quarter after they got the lead. But when they needed to move the ball, they couldn't move the ball. And they couldn't keep it away from PV, and the kicking game killed TSU. That's really why they lost the game. We're not going to dwell on it. I mean, I know they were having some guys injured, and it wasn't their usual punter, et cetera, but
you can hear the post-game quotes and all straight from Coach's mouth. Basically said it was special teams, is what would get to.
But where can folks hear these comments?
They can hear these comments at www.kingssideview.com. Hit that hot button, that hot button on the front page that says the College Sports Report, Fifth Ward Wildcat, Jerry Woodley, and you will hear Coach Kevin Ramsey's comments directly after the game. You'll also hear from the preview coach, Heisman North, Coach North, right? Coach North. I told him, I said, Coach, just pronounce your name because you and I, my compadre and I, we've been taught by professionals. Don't be butchering people's names.
Right. Have them say it,
and then you go with that. Go with that. And I also spoke to a couple of, especially the quarterback from Lovelock immediately after the game, and also kicker Barry from Prairie View. From Texas Southern, I talked to Barker. Moses, with an offensive lineman, what is it? Alvarez, I think that's what his last name is. I'm not looking at my sheet now in front of me.
Wow, Moses Alvidrez.
Yes, yeah. This guy, he can block. He can get things done. And you always got to, at some point during the season, you got to recognize offensive line. Because when they do a job, they do a job. He mentioned about some things, and folks, you can hit that at www.kingsideview.com. Hit that hot button that says the College Sports Report. Now,
we're not gonna, and I don't want to go soft on this. Houston Cougars won, beat North Texas 48-23. Started slowly. Their kicking game was problematic for much of the game. And at halftime, 20-17. Offense got on track in the second half and outscored Mean Green 28-6. I don't want to get into too much detail because honestly I didn't watch the game like I did Texas Southern Prairie View.
But the second game the first game of the day was Rice-Purdue. And I'm gonna tell you folks, it wasn't a bad crowd, but it could have been better.
Should have been better.
It's 100 years of football, and people, I'm gonna tell you,
it was great. It was a great weather too.
And once again, then you came in from out of town. They got lucky. Breeze and all started as soon as the game gets started. So, but Big Ten, Big 12, whatever they are or whatever they will be, those teams they pound the ball.
Speaking of that, sir, that's a nice little segue. Let's talk about whatever they will be, Big 12, whatever.
Because we don't know what's going on, folks. As we speak right now, there are a lot of conversations going on in the area, and it's basically the comments that you've been hearing here on a weekly basis about where possibilities and all. The craziest I think came up yesterday about Texas moving to the ACC, and that came up again last night, late night.
I'm glad you mentioned that, sir. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Now, you're talking about a football program that's going to a basketball foundation.
I'm going to read some information posted on orangebloods.com. And this is in the free area because, I'm not going to spend a dime on if it involves Longhorns. But they have 5 reasons why the ACC could make more sense for Texas than the Pac-12. I won't go into details, but first one is interesting and it's legitimate regarding a student athlete. And even, obviously he says it's more about, it's not really about student athletes. We all know it's about money, of course. But the reason is student athletes would be gaining an hour by traveling back to Austin from the Eastern time zone rather than losing 2 hours if they travel from the West Coast back to Austin. Does that make sense? And then academically,
so just one time zone rather than 2. Is that the only thing that's a headache right now?
Well, that was some of the reasons that last year when regarding team going to the Big Ten. In travel was a time zone and travel thing like that. So that is a legitimate reason. Now, academically, ACC is probably better suited for Texas compared to some of the teams in the Pac-12. One of the numbers is the Pac-12 has good academics as well, thanks to Stanford ranked 5th, Cal 21st, USC, UCLA ranked in top 25, Washington 42. For the other half of the Pac-12, schools are ranked from 94 to 138, compared to schools in the ACC ranked from high as Duke to 10 to as low as 101, Florida State, NC State. So there's that. Another thing, of course, we're getting into the real sports, what matters, football. ACC has Florida State, Miami, and Virginia Tech. Not much difference between USC, Stanford, Oregon, basketball-wise. Duke, North Carolina. Let's be real. Pac-12, UCLA, and that's it. In terms of basketball, respectability, nationally known, that's the truth. I mean, UCLA has 11 national championships. Coach Wooden's program, Duke, North Carolina. So there we go there. Non-revenue sports also mentioned in the article. Women's basketball in ACC is big-time basketball.
Yeah.
It's better than the Pac-12 overall, without a doubt. Stanford is Stanford and everybody else in the women's basketball as far as the Pac-12 is concerned.
Yep.
Baseball, ACC baseball. Florida State, Clemson, Carolina, Georgia Tech, Miami, Virginia, those are all legitimate, excellent baseball programs. And the kicker, fifth reason, the most important reason, the Longhorn Network. They can keep the Longhorn Network, keep the money in the ACC.
Folks, I wanted to just throw up. I just wanted to throw up.
That's the reasons that they have, and they also mentioned a few other reasons. Monetarily, the Longhorn Network is let's be realistic, people. That's the main reason why they would possibly choose the ACC. Because Pac-12, from the early reports, Longhorns would have to share the money from the network with the other members, and that's not going to fly. Most of us believe that. So there's reasons for the Longhorns to choose the ACC. I think it's asinine for a school in Texas to be playing in the ACC, but nobody asked me for my opinion on this.
Okay.
But, I have no problems with Duke. Women's basketball coming to Austin. North Carolina women's basketball coming to Austin. I have no problem with that. I have friends of both staffs, so I have no problem with either way. So
I tell you,
I'm all for that if that does happen.
And folks, you can talk about.
Thank goodness no Duke men's basketball coming to Austin. I'd be all behind that.
Oh yeah. Now, with that being said, we definitely would get a better brand of basketball overall in the state of Texas. I mean, let's just be real. But because now you're not talking about cable or regional networks. You're talking about the networks, on-air freebies, getting games on every night, 7 days a week. We'll be getting a real basketball game, men's and women's. The only issue I have is once again, somebody has given Texas the okay to hold on to their network, and their reasoning for moving would be based around that particular revenue-bearing monstrosity.
You bring up a good point. Now, it's not known if the ACC schools like Duke and Carolina and NC State and Clemson would agree to the Longhorns keeping a lot of their money without some sort of share. That remains to be seen.
All right.
The point that they make here in the article on the website is that ESPN would get involved and boost the ACC TV contract to appease the current members of the ACC to allow Longhorns to keep their network. So that's what they are surmising would have to take place.
Okay, now, with that being said, let's just go to the real big gorilla and elephant in the room. ESPN. Will that become a monopoly as far as broadcast? Or when you adjust the numbers?
Well, we know this. When it comes to basketball, ESPN loves Duke. ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU. It seems like every Duke men's basketball game is on TV. So, Duke is a global brand in terms of men's basketball. And North Carolina is on TV a lot. Football-wise, Florida State seems like they're back on the upswing. ESPN would love that. They used to be on TV on ESPN all the time in the 90s. So, there's a possibility that ESPN could get their paws into the ACC's, So, at some points it makes sense. Oklahoma going to the Pac-12. I saw some writings that some of the member schools are not thrilled with Oklahoma's academic record. So, there's all kinds of reasons, this, that, and other, and all this stuff is fluid, and, who knows? I've read also some stuff that the Big 12, because of the current TV contract, will still exist because of financially and legally it will cost ESPN too much money to break up the Big 12, as it is right now. And they'd have to add some teams. It may add U of H and SMU, and it may be a watered-down Big 12 for 2 years, 3 years, but it will still be a Big 12.
Okay.
There's all kinds of, you got Missouri going to the SEC and Kansas and Kansas State going to the Big East. And
okay, now, the irrelevant football schools.
And how State going, who knows where?
That are in the steel.
And Baylor going somewhere, who knows?
Big 12. What, because of our states, Kansas State's basketball revenue bearing that they carry, both men's and women's, especially at our state, will that allow them to move to a situation of the Big East, the Big 12, which will most likely become the Big 14, which is not a Big 10?
Well, who knows? All we're doing is speculating and making opinions, offering opinions based on the information we've heard and read. It really is. It's changing almost every day. Over the weekend, the Longhorns were going to the Pac-12. Longhorns met with Oklahoma about keeping the students in the Big 12.
And
Oklahoma going to the Pac-12. Now we're talking about Texas going to the ACC. Who the hell knows where this stuff is all going to pan out? All we really can do is sit and wait and know that, God willing, we will be covering teams regardless. We just don't know what conference we'll be affiliated.
Yeah, because now this brings up to Football Media Day, 2 years in a row on the men's for football. But basketball-wise, we really listening because now it's just like this. You just basically dropped it in everybody's lap. Now you got a coaching staff that's not accustomed to having to answer questions outside of the sport, because we're starting to hear a lot more from Bill Self than we've ever heard from him speaking. Bill Finley, who was a former coach, president of the Coaches Association, women's basketball. He definitely has something to say about a lot of things. And when you put a microphone in his face, he ain't Gary Blair. You basically better have it sit on the stand, because if you're holding it, you're going to be there a while.
But it's true. Women's basketball coaches, women's basketball is an afterthought in all these discussions. Men's basketball is even an afterthought to a certain extent. But
it depends on the conference and the program.
Right. Our colleague, Andy Katz, has written, they had a little roundtable discussion on ESPN.com about what they think the impact is going to be on men's basketball with all these discussions of super conferences. That panel they don't believe the super conferences are as quick to occur as some people do. They think it's, if it happens, it'll be much further down the line, because there's so many egos involved.
They live in a basketball
possibly. But there's so many different egos involved, and we're talking about 64 different presidents, board of regents grouping, board of directors, or what have you, trying to make decisions for whatever they perceive is in their best interest, which is all they just want the most money.
And that's what it's going to boil down to.
So
who's offering what?
I agree with you to an extent, but Katz and them they bring up some interesting discussions, but it all boils down to, like I said earlier, we have no idea how this is all going to play out. As a U of H alum, I would like for U of H to be in the Big 12. But hell, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. 2 years from now, they may be in another conference when they go to the 4-16s. Who knows?
Well, one thing that I will phrase it this way: after making contact with two different conferences, information that it hasn't flowed out, but basically everybody is sitting and watching, but nobody's sitting still. So the makeups that will be relevant will be more set out as what can you hold on to as far as a regional situation, sort of like the WAC in the Mountain West, or be like Conference USA where everybody's all over the place. And those three conferences will pretty much be left to decide what they want to do, or how they want to be recognized or evolve into most likely two conferences that will suit everybody involved, as to where financially where they can survive, continue to survive over a long haul, not a short. Because right now 5 years is a short time. Because over the last 5 years, a lot of teams have moved. It's almost like kids transferring, right?
Yeah.
I'm not happy. So I'm gone.
Right. And you bring up a good point talking about regions and, the geographic locations that make sense, which the non-big time program,
right.
non-big time conferences need to do.
Non-BCS.
Well, I didn't want to say BCS because who knows what that's going to be, but.
And I really think that's going to decide how the makeups get done. You'll have an East Coast and a West Coast, and then you'll figure out what to do with those teams in between.
East, West, North, South.
In between the Appalachian Mountains and the Rockies. And folks, you gotta, if you've been around football a while, and know the geography, that's the next set of schools that are in between. Because East and West of Mississippi, you can't use that as a dividing line anymore. It's too many schools involved, too many people looking at money.
Well, let's real quickly, and we're going. We can talk about this for who knows how long.
Let's talk to your favorite subject because
I want to do two things. One, I just want to touch on the two big time verbal commitments that U of H got on Sunday, folks, from Daniel House from Hightower High School and NRAD Chicken Knowles, go by Chicken Knowles, from he's a homeschool kid.
Yeah.
Chicken tells me he's 6'10", some site lists him at 6'9", he's 6'10", 180, I say 190, whatever. Daniel House is 6'7", about 200 pounds. Both are ranked top 50 in the country. Depends on what site do you go by. So, some say Daniel's 15, Chicken's 56, whatever. It's two of the biggest
kids in the program that they've had since the days of old.
Without a doubt. And I was there at it took place at Rucker on Wood, this open gym setting, for Houston area high school boys to get together and compete against each other. The announcement was made. My handful of media was there. When those two young men put on those U of H caps, I felt good as a Cougar alum because, and then speaking to them afterwards, they talked about wanting to return the program to tradition and bringing back Phi Sigma Gamma. To see these two guys we're talking about, 17-year-old kids, talking about bringing back tradition of Phi Sigma Gamma. They weren't even around when Akeem and Clyde and Michael Young were wreaking havoc across the nation, when Coach Lewis tossed up the polka dot towel and winning basketball games and kicking butt. But to see
y'all was kicking butt back in the day,
Coach Dickey and Coach Brooks and Coach Mal and Coach Robinson doing what they said they were going to do, and they were brought in. They said they were going to recruit the Houston area kids, the top level kids, and they were not going to just assume that those top level kids did not want to come to the U of H. They've done their job. They've done the work. They talked to the kids. You and I know that Daniel and Chicken's AU coach Marlon. We've known Marlon for years, and Marlon said he commended the U of H staff for doing their job and being persistent to get the local kids to come to U of H. So they're both class of 2012. So it's a positive sign for U of H. That there's add on to other positives with the football program. The building's going up around campus. Hopefully the football stadium finally, put shovel in the ground and get that done probably in the springtime of 2012. A lot of positives for University of Houston athletics. From that positive to the ridiculous of the NBA lockout. I don't want to get into gloom and doom because yesterday, let me just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and folks, let me remind everybody, of course, I'm KG, and this is the KG and the Ward Wildcat podcast. We hope you enjoy it. We talked about a lot of different sports topics today because we're versatile, and that's what we do. And to paraphrase Carmelo Anthony, we do this.
Yeah.
NBA met 5 hours yesterday. The owners met with the Player Association. And they came out afterwards. Executive Billy Hunter made a quote that's going around the internet saying that they've advised the players to be prepared to miss half the season before we get a deal done. David Stern, Adam Silver, his side wasn't as negative as the players were. Not even sure who to believe here. Yesterday, some of the writers talking about, hey, this is bad, this looks bad, it's horrible, and games won't start on time. Then a handful of guys said, this is all posturing, this is all part of the dance and part of negotiating. Things will still get done. Chris Sheridan, God bless him. Chris Sheridan and continues to believe this league will start on time. It'll be a 82-game season. He's maintained this position, my goodness, for this whole year. And I commend him for it. And he is a well-connected basketball writer. So he gives me hope. His positivity and his reasons for his positivity give me hope. I'm not sure, I have hope. And whether I believe that hope is going to still come to fruition, I have doubts. Now we got somebody talking about the agents, the player agents want to vote Billy Hunter out and want to decertify the union and basically talk about a mutiny. And, want players to get Billy Hunter out. And they want to decertify because they think that's going to give them more leverage against the owners. All it's going to do is drag out the process more. Yes, you and I both know that the owners want to break the union. We know that. We've known that for 2 years.
But and the only reason I'm stepping in now is because he brought up a subject that just broke me, just bothers the hell out of me. When guys start talking about decertifying union without knowing what that means. Decertifying a union means you have no vote. You basically got to get a bunch of guys now together in a quorum, a forum. You got to put leaders in positions, and then you go to the table. Because I'm gonna tell you, management does not talk to just one person.
Right.
They want to know who's speaking for everybody that's involved. Too many guys are listening to some nutty buddy, and that's what because now you're messing with income and around the area. I know both of us have too many friends and all that working these sporting arenas and all, and their income and their households are in the positions right now, and that's money that funds helpmates part-time situation that you're looking for to help you with whatever's going on at home. Just answer this question. I know you've checked it, and this is my last time breaking into you.
No, fine. That's what we do.
First I heard it. Then I went online and I read it. And I asked you this morning, that's the first thing out of my mouth was, how can you tell me that you broke, or what I feel like this, that you're not making money, but you paying out checks to folks that the three that I saw were two guys that sit on the bench now. We talking about people that sit on the bench.
Like Eddie Curry?
Yeah. I'm going to mention his name. Mm-hmm. He getting $900,000, almost $1 million sitting in his fat, fat funky butt at home. Eating up, and I said it, but how can you complain when you sitting at home and you collecting almost $1 million? And somebody said that they are not making profit or they don't have profit, because when you're a homeowner and you're not getting income, you make deals and all. You make a phone call and says, look, funds a little low, we slow play, you only get half of it this month or whatever. And then you say, can you wait? But you paying out before training camp gets started, before the league gets started, and it's all public. Because when you start handing out checks, you got to let folks know you sending checks out, because the bank's going to say, oh, you got money. Your bills get paid.
Okay.
Now, explain to me what transpired. What changed?
As best I can. What the Wildcat is referring to, this week, I believe the payment started this week.
Yeah.
The NBA owners are writing checks to every player, every NBA player. The checks total $161 million. That's 8% of each player's salary that was withheld from their paychecks according to the NBA's escrow tax system. So it's based on the amount of basketball-related income, 57%. That 8% of this payroll, 8% of their salaries was withheld to ensure that the BRI will not exceed 57%. For the first time under this agreement, these checks are being paid out. So naturally, the players are saying, well, the system must not be broken if we are receiving checks back, in the escrow. This is the first time it's happened. And I want to even make you a little bit more perturbed. The league also sent an additional $26 million to the union to satisfy its obligation to pay out the 57% of basketball-related income. So
wait, hold on.
So that, so basically the league is paid back to the players.
So they sent 2 big checks.
$187 million. Well, no, it's each player's getting a check.
Yeah.
And the unions keep that $26 million based on basically like a war chest. So that money's not going anywhere. So,
but everybody
received 8% of their check back.
I'll ask it this way. Everybody that was in the league,
getting a salary back.
That was in the league on a team, salary wise, whether free agent or whatever, that finished the season, that guy got a check.
If they had a contract, they got 8% back of their salary. So Rashad Lewis got $1.5 million back. Eddie Curry, as you mentioned, got $927,000 back. Kobe's check was, $2 million, whatever. I don't know. It was $1.98 million. So it's about $2 million. So all those players got money back. So yes, that's another issue. And the irony of yesterday's meeting is the players agreed to lower their 57% of basketball-related income to 54%, actually not 53%, which shows some of the owners that, wow, the players really make a concession. So the owners, the big market owners were like, hey, that sounds good. That's what we want. We want players to make concessions, to give us back something. The small market owners said, that's not enough. We want more back. We want a hard salary cap. We are going to keep this going until the players crack. They're already starting to crack right now, so let's prolong this as long as we can until they have nothing left. So if that means no season, then so be it. That's where the division is on the owner side. So we have a division. This is something like this. Before I wrap it up, we have large market owners having beef with small market owners on the owner side. Player side, now we have agents having beefs with Billy Hunter. Isn't this great?
This is America.
College basketball, I can start October 15th.
This is America.
Who are you, sir? I can folks find you as we wrap it up on that note.
This is Ward Wildcat. You can find me at www.kingsideview.com. Folks, college sports is what I do. And my compadre across the way is who?
I'm KG of Houston Roundball Review. My website is www.houstonroundballreview.com.
And professional basketball is what he does. Women's college basketball is what he does.
Pro basketball is what I do if there's pro basketball to cover. But if it doesn't happen, this is different than it was in '98. I'm more diversified now that I can cover more things and have more stuff to talk about, write about. So if the NBA's gone in a few months, so what?
Basketball is
fine. Be by all me, because like to a point, out of sight, out of mind.
Just like we were ready for, I was ready for college basketball, college football to be going on, and high school football to be going on. Folks, got to find a way.
Because as we said in the earlier podcast, NBA ain't the NFL. So if they want to miss games and test fans' loyalty, go ahead. Whatever. We're both of us are on Twitter. What's your hashtag?
My hashtag is AKSVDCSR. Got it right today.
And mine is THEHR Review. Our podcast is also on YouTube. As mentioned earlier, it's also available on iTunes. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening. Tell all your friends about it. KD and the Fifth Ward Wildcat. This is what we do. We talk about sports. We talk about a lot of different things as well in the sports world. In conclusion, be true, be cool, and do more.